Can you look up the best drag coefficients of all time of passenger cars? That's got to be top 1 or 2 or 3.
You gotta guess before he looks.
Well, I mean, you've got stuff like the GM EV1, which and then that crazy Volkswagen XL, whatever the fuck thing it was.
Technically, was a production car. Yeah.
This list will surprise people.
What is this list recent? Is it current or recent? What's the date on that?
This is 2014.
Oh, 14? No.
It's a little old.
Some cars on those lists do surprise you. Remember that Mercedes E-Class diesel that we drove was 0.27? Yeah, that was amazing.
I bet you didn't expect a GTR to be 0.26.
No, I didn't.
Because they look very big.
Yeah.
And what else? Well, just for comparison's sake, like one of the slipperiest here is a CLA 0.22.
Oh yeah, there's that Volkswagen XL1. What's that?
0.19. But I mean, this is like a concept car, basically.
That's a car from Demolition Man.
Yeah, basically. So let's talk about, it's a production car.
What was the best regular production car? The Mercedes CLA?
Yeah, that's 0.22, which is incredible because it's Tesla here. A 2012 Model S is 0.24. Mm-hmm. Wow, so Taycan is 0.22 slipperier than that.
Yeah. It's and you know what I like so many things about Taycan. In the canyons, aside from those eco tires, it basically feels like kind of like a Cayman. Like it's heavy, obviously, but with the rear steer, it's really agile. The weight is so low, and you sit down inside the wheels, kind of, you know what I mean? They sink the whole cabin so low. So, and the view out the dash, it's very Cayman-like, and so it really gives that impression, like sort of when you drove the Aston Rapide versus the Aston DB9. They didn't feel any different. Like it was like a foot and a half longer, but like it was basically the same exact car for all intents and purposes.
Totally.
This is kind of like that.
I agree, and I think it has the lowest center of gravity of any Porsche production car.
It does, yeah.
Which is, and it I mean, I should clarify, because like the company I work for, we shoot a lot of stuff for Porsche, so I'm not going to review the car or anything, but I've driven it in the canyons for B-roll, and I will say that it felt way lighter than the advertised curb weight.
You cannot trust Zach Klapman because he was paid by JF Musial and he was paid by Porsche to shoot B-roll. So you cannot trust anything Zach says. He's a corporate stooge.
JF would jump on and be like, Zach is the worst corporate employee we've ever had.
Corporate stooge for Porsche.
Steps on all our dicks all the time.
Yeah. So full disclosure, Zach drove that same Taycan 4S that I drove to shoot some B-Reezy.
Yes. Yeah.
Some B-roll. Sometimes they need to do that. So if you see some very polished B-roll of that car, look for Klapman. If you see that fucking coronavirus hair.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll give you a flip side to the drag coefficient number. So what do you think a Hummer H2 is?
0.46.
Higher.
0.64.
5.7.
Wait, just what's... I don't know, like... I know that lower is better, right, in drag coefficients, right? But like, what is like 1.0? Like, what is like, what's the worst that something could be? What is a cardboard box?
What is a building?
Like a Legends car is 0.7. A Caterham 7 is 0.7. Hummer H2 G-Class is a 5.4. And this is kind of interesting. So the original Beetle, so like the old school Beetle, 0.48. Now that's a car that most people would see as curvy, and they would think, okay, that's got to be slippery. It's really not. It's 0.48. The new Jeep Wrangler is
it was 0.48 better than like another 1940s. I mean, we're talking about the 40s.
It probably was.
You know what I mean?
Like what's on this list? But like
a 1937 Mercedes?
Well, a 37 Lancia Aprilia is 0.47. A 79 Ford Mustang is 0.46. So I mean,
if anyone in the comments can come up with a drag coefficient, the highest possible drag coefficient.
What do you think your Countach is?
Oh, it's probably in the high 0.38, something like that.
4.2.
4.2? Yeah,
I'm not sure. No, I'm not sure which model they were testing, but
I mean, it's probably not great.
So I looked up on Wikipedia all the formulas and stuff, and basically a drag coefficient equal to 1 is obtained when all the fluid approaching the object stops. So like literally a building,
like a wall. Yes.
Yeah, and actually the air, wind goes around the building, so it's actually But if it was an infinitely wide and tall wall,
okay,
then it would be a 1.
So
Okay,
Jesus,
so
if you're talking about anything over 0.5 is a horror show.
Yeah, basically.
Well, I mean, a Hummer H2 is 0.57. That is literally twice the drag of a Focus.
That's
Well,
fucking
twice.
terrible.
That's two of them on top of each other.
The EV1 and the XL1 are 0.19.
Yeah.
And then this is interesting. 1935.
Tatra.
Yeah.
See, that's why I would be confused by the Beetle, because the Beetle was inspired by the Tatra, and I didn't say it 30 seconds ago because I didn't want to say it wrong and sound stupid. But I was gonna say I could have swore the Tatra actually was aerodynamic.
In 1989, Opel Calibria.
The Opel Calibria.
0.26.
Wow, good for Opel.
Yeah.
All right.
So I mean, there was some over the years sprinkled some things in there. I mean, even like a 98 to 05 Mercedes-Benz S-Class was a 0.27.
98 to 05. Oh yeah, that's a very slippery design. Yeah.
So I mean, you can kind of get an idea. I mean,
Yeah.
most of the ones in the low list are obviously more modern, but every once in a while you
But
get
some like some we looked it up when we were doing the Levante video. Like the Levante was 0.31. And like the X5M was like 0.34, Cayenne Turbo was like 0.34, 0.35, something like that. So and I think a lot of the supercars that have the downforce and stuff are in the middle 3.3 range.
Yeah, depending on
Subaru SVX is 0.29.
Oh man!
Wow.
SVX,
Those
a
are
car that
cool.
never had a chance, but really should have.
When was this made? Because it has to be cocaine, right?
If Subaru retro futured
yeah.
the SVX, that would be cool.
What a weird! This is such an amazing idea that someone had.
Did you like SVXs back in the day?
Coming right
yeah.
off cocaine. Someone found a bag and then drew this and sold
Someone
it.
found a bag.
Because this was right before. When was like the Japanese recession? When it was
middle 90s.
Middle 90s. So
Yeah.
this was like
Yeah.
this was right when they were just
Peak.
almost peak bubble.
Peak, yeah. Tokyo is a Panasonic future.
I in high school when I saw them, I did always like them, and I for a long time didn't even know what they were. I was like, "Hey, is that guy in that?"
Well,
Coke thing?
when you're a kid, you associate features, right? So you see those split windows and you think Countach, you think DeLorean,
You think boat, airplane,
whatever. It's inspired by other shit.
ticket window.
Yeah.
What I think is funny is that they were able to, like, even in 1984, Pontiac Firebird Trans Am with the Aero package was was a 0.29.
Yeah.
So over
the early ones
yeah.
before they start putting the body kits on them and stuff,
Yeah.
right? I think the first gen Camaro was actually fairly slick as well.
And over the years, they've been able to do. In 1921, they had a Rumpler Tropenwagen that did
Rumpler?
that did a 0.28. So they've been able to do the drag coefficients over
Yeah.
the years. They have the design and the technology to do it. I mean, they just didn't care. They just didn't care.
Now they hide it. Now now they've found ways to do it where the car looks good.
Right.
It's not just like a total like belly tanker streamliner
And that's
kind of
basically
deal.
what the Rumpler Tropenwagen is. Basically a belly.
What's it
tanker.
called?
Rumpler
What?
Tropenwagen.
Tropenwagen.
Wait, what are you?
A Rumpler?
RUMPLER.
Yeah.
TROPFEN. Wagon.
Tropfenwagen. Oh yeah, look at that.
I mean, it's cool looking for 1921.
Wow, which way is it going? Oh yeah, it's going forward, but looks like it's going in reverse. It's got kind of a boat tail speedster thing. You know what? I like the fuck out of this. I would love to roll that at Pebble Beach.
That's pretty cool.
When
It
you
looks
look-
exactly like someone took a boat and then put wheels on
When
it.
you look at that wind hitting it, you would never think that's a 0.29 drag
No.
coefficient.
No, and what a great
see
photograph.
if you can-
God, I'd love to get that blown up on the wall.
See if you
isn't
can
it?
find a headshot on it.
I just
A Rumpel Tropfelwagen. That's the kind of car you could drive
this
drunk
is why.
as fuck.
That's why.
Yeah, that's
People would
why I
just-
watch.
People would just wave and smile. Oh, look at the nose.
Yeah, this is why it's 0.29.
Oh, it's a biplane. It's basically a biplane.
It's an
They
airplane
took
with
the wing
wheels.
off.
Yeah,
Yeah. You would
You're
hang.
talking belly tankers.
Yeah, you know
they
what?
just
It pretty
basically-
much looks like you'd hang it from a Zeppelin. That's basically the cab of a Zeppelin or like a Chris Craft.
Yeah, it's
We
a big
don't-
canoe
could
with
be
a cover.
a fuel tank on
Oh my
an
God.
airplane wing.
How many of these did they make? Just one?
No.
Oh, I'd love to drive that. Imagine a Chris Craft boat hull, painted Bugatti French Racing blue.
It has
With dive planes front and rear.
100 cars.
They then have
Made 100.
a gondola top, a ski lift gondola top attached to it. It's fucking awesome.
Dude, the dive planes are this is a submarine with wheels. I mean,
and they've got like a wafy kind of chick driving it in this promo shot too.
Yeah, that was the very first streamlined production car officially.